Dear Michael Gunter, Professor of Political Science at Tennessee Technological University and Secretary General of the EU Turkish Civic Commission, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. You, with 28 other signatories, have started signature campaign that calls EU to delist the PKK from terrorist organizations list. Could you please tell us a little bit more about this campaign and what is the importance of this campaign, please?
Well, we think by delisting the PKK will help end the senseless violence and killing and destruction that's going on in Turkey and on the borders with Iraq and Syria. This is no good for anybody. The strategy of President Erdogan on calling the PKK terrorists is not working, and we appeal to President Erdogan to try a different strategy that's more likely to lead to peace and security. And it's not a new strategy. As we know, back 5 to 10 years ago, the PKK and Turkey were negotiating and came very close to some very significant agreements. And we should go back to that.
The PKK is listed as a terrorist organization by the British state and the European Union, and Abdullah Öcalan is a leader of the PKK and the Kurds as well. What is the significance of this legal definition of terrorism, and can it be changed?
Well, by calling the PKK terrorists, we are delegitimizing the PKK. We're making the PKK look like a criminal. It's not really a judicial term, although it sounds like one. It's a political decision on the part of Turkey to try and delegitimize its PKK opponent. And by isolating Öcalan, we are associating, Turkey is associating Öcalan with this delegitimized PKK. So the two are wrapped up with each other, isolating Öcalan and calling the PKK terrorists. And as I said, this is simply a strategy that President Erdogan has been using, but it's obviously failing. And I think that he would be better served to try a different strategy.
We have talked about the Turkey's war economy and the wrong choices of the Turkish President Erdogan. What is the relation of different strategies that should Erdogan try about fixing the economy and stop the war economy? Because as much as the economy goes down, the war gets more deep down, and there is more people dying and genocides happening against the Kurds as well. So, what would you like to? How are you gonna evaluate the wrong choices of Turkish President Erdogan?
Well, as you know, one of the original reasons Erdogan became so popular and powerful was that he led to a great economy in Turkey. But this is in the past. As you know, right now, the Turkish economy is collapsing, and the worst problem in Turkey right now is 20% inflation rate. Now, everyone who knows anything about economics knows that if you're having an inflation policy, you raise interest rates. You raise interest rates to take money out of the economy and cause prices to fall. But President Erdogan, for whatever reason, I could speculate on why, but President Erdogan is lowering interest rates. And this is causing inflation to grow even faster in Turkey. It's a total disaster, and any economist would tell you this. And so I conclude that if President Erdogan is making a mistake in his monetarist policies in Turkey right now by lowering interest rates, he's probably making a mistake for Turkey's welfare by continuing to list the PKK as terrorists. And I don't think Erdogan wants to make these mistakes, but he's clearly making them. And his mistakes with the economy show that he's capable of making mistakes with the PKK.
How would you comment on to the relation between keeping PKK on the terrorist organization list and isolation of the Kurdish leader Mr. Abdullah Öcalan?
Well, as I was saying earlier, I think they go hand in glove with each other. By isolating Öcalan, you're also isolating the PKK, and by calling the PKK terrorists, you're isolating the PKK because no one legitimate is going to negotiate with a terrorist. So it goes hand in glove, isolating Öcalan and calling PKK terrorists.
Do you think the Brussels High Court decision about the PKK can affect the delisting of the PKK process in EU as well?
I hope it can. It is an important precedent. However, as you know, the Belgium court ruled on this some time ago, and it has not caused a change yet. But that doesn't mean it's not an important precedent. But we need other things. And Erem, again, I'd like to stress that although listening to PKK and talking about court decisions sounds like a judicial problem, really at heart, it's a political problem. It's a political decision on the part of President Erdogan and his supporters here, like the United States and the EU, for political reasons, to support keeping Turkey PKK on the terrorist list. And so this is not working. And again, we ought to be smart enough to try a different strategy. And if we try a different strategy, I would recommend that immediately the PKK should make the first move. The PKK knows what it can do to give Erdogan something that he would like. I would recommend that the PKK do this and then call upon Turkey to remove it from the terrorist list. And then that would set a good precedent of goodwill on both sides to begin renegotiating this problem, because neither side, President Erdogan nor the PKK side, need to continue this mindless killing and destruction that has been going on for much too long.
Why do you think this EU, United Nations, and America should take the PKK off from the list?
Because it's not working. It is in the interest of the United States to have a more stable, peaceful situation in the Middle East, especially regarding Turkey and the Kurds, who are so important for peace and stability in the Middle East. And the current strategy is not working, calling the PKK terrorists. Let's try something new. It's not going, and the United States has made mistakes like this before. If you will recall, at one time the United States listed Nelson Mandela as a terrorist, and that was for political reasons too. And obviously that did not work.
The signatory campaign that you started actually has reached out over 1,000 people now. But I would like to ask you also, what else can be done to delist the PKK immediately?
Well, I think I've stated my basic ideas to realize that President Erdogan has made mistakes here, and give him the benefit of the doubt that he's trying to make the right decisions, that he is causing tremendous economic problems and political security problems with his current economic policies and listing the PKK as terrorists, and encourage him to pursue a different policy, not only for the good of the Kurds, but for the good of Turkey and for the good of all others who are involved in the Middle East, except, of course, terrorists like ISIS and other terrorist groups who seem to thrive on instability and terrorism.
Dear Michael Gunter, Professor of Political Science at Tennessee Technological University and Secretary General of the EU-Turkey Civic Commission, EUTCC, thanks for joining us. Thank you for your valuable comments today.
Well, thank you for your work with the problems we have here. You've done a lot of good for the cause, and I encourage you to keep working at it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.